Hey everybody, what's up? I'm here to give you my, well, everybody's been doing one lately, so I'll give you my Money in the Bank 2012 predictions. Now, I'm not probably going to order Money in the Bank this year, due to the fact I still have cable to be able to pay off a little bit. But I'm not saying I haven't stopped ordering WWE pay-per-views. I'm still going to order SummerSlam because it's the 25th anniversary. But anyway, let's talk about Money in the Bank. First of all, a lot of people kind of have a mixed feeling about this. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people feel as though it's not as hyped up as last year, and they feel that at least one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches is going to be a letdown. But let's take a look at the card and see exactly how booking-wise and prediction-wise as a fan things would go. Like, in other words, prediction-wise, as a fan, how I would predict and want to see it go. Booking-wise, how I feel they will book it. Now, let's start with the pre-show. The tag champions, Kofi and R-Truth, taking on Hunico and Camacho. Now, you would think that they should have put them in a match with the primetime players, O'Neal and Young. But something tells me that whoever is in charge of WWE Creative, or at least one of the people on WWE Creative, someone on that creative team and booking team wants to try to at least extend this situation for the tag titles, at least to maybe SummerSlam. So if they decide to put the belts on O'Neal and Young, it could be on a bigger, grander stage. But prediction-wise, Kofi and R-Truth, booking-wise, you got to keep the momentum with the champions, so that going into SummerSlam, like I said, you can make this situation with them and the primetime players a big enough deal for people to care about. Now, as far as we know, besides the pre-game or the pre-show, we have 2 Money in the Bank matches, 2 championship matches, which is about 4 matches. Probably an additional Ryback squash match, of course. Maybe a Brodus Clay squash match. And no doubt, probably an additional Divas match down the line. So, until that information is tossed our way, we'll just have to wait and see. But let's take a look at the championship matches, shall we? Let's take a look at the world title. Now, a lot of people, a lot of fans are pretty much predicting and stating that this time Del Rio is going to walk out as the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, that might be correct. It seems WWE has put a lot of stock into him, and hopefully the stock will pay off with him, to become World Champion. However, WWE, from what I've understood from other sources, has been planning to keep the belt on Sheamus for maybe another month. In other words, when he won the title at WrestleMania, I should say, the plan was to give Sheamus a long title reign. And that long title reign could last at least until maybe SummerSlam. So, prediction-wise, I would like to see Del Rio win it so he can, accomplish something that not many people do in the first few years with a company, with a promotion like WWE, and that's win both of the major championships. So I think Del Rio, prediction-wise, as a fan, I would like to see him win. But booking-wise, knowing how WWE, or guessing how WWE books, I'm looking at it as they're going to keep the momentum, or keep the belt on Sheamus until at least SummerSlam. Will they finally let Del Rio take the championship? And why, you may ask? Well, that's got to do with something about the world title Money in the Bank match. But that's how I look at it. Prediction-wise, as a fan, I would like to see Del Rio finally become world champion. Because let's not forget, that was his original goal when he first came to WWE. Then, when he got drafted to Raw, it became the WWE title, which he won twice. So, prediction-wise, as a fan, I would like to see him win it. But booking-wise, guessing how WWE is going to book it, they'll keep the belt on Sheamus so that he can probably drop it to Del Rio at SummerSlam. Now, I know what you're saying. They're saying, well, Del Rio's the poster boy for the event. You know, he's in the he's in the advertisement and all that. Yeah, he is. And you would think that someone like Del Rio, because of that, WWE would book him to go over and become champion. But again, I think they want to go one more month with Sheamus as champion before he drops it to Del Rio. I'm just saying. Because think about it. Some people say, you know, Jeff Meacham, J.J. Williams, Stat Boy, I'm pretty sure the British Fist, and I'm pretty sure when they get the chance to do the Off the Rope show, are all going to say that going into Los Angeles, you want Del Rio to have that championship goal because of the Latino community, the Latino, you know, population, right? But here's the thing. You could do that, but what better way to book Del Rio to become Del Rio at SummerSlam, if you do a rematch, than to have him win the championship at SummerSlam in front of a majority of Latino supporters. You know what I'm saying? What better way to have him win it at SummerSlam than in front of that majority of Latino crowd and fans? So that's why I think they're going to hold off until at least SummerSlam if they book it the way I think they're going to book it. Now, as far as the WWE Championship goes, a lot of people pretty much are saying it's more about AJ than the WWE Championship. Well, like I said in one of my videos, the reason they're doing this with AJ is to make her into a modern day equivalent of Sable, Elizabeth, perhaps Lita, and Trish Stratus. That's why they're doing this. To get her to become the face of that division. To have her become, as I said it before, the John Cena, the Randy Orton of that division. You know? And the CM Punk, if you will. The CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton, Undertaker, if you will. Well, maybe not Undertaker, but you get the point, of the Divas division. So that at least when people talk about the Divas division, they can be like, oh, you mean that division that AJ's a part of? AJ Lee. Oh yeah, I've heard of that division. Or if you see her like at a Comic-Con, an event like a Comic-Con or an E3 or something like that, you can say, oh, there's AJ, she's part of the Divas division. That's why, again, that is why they're doing this with AJ. It's not just because of this love triangle and love crush or whatever you want to, the fuck you want to call it, she's got going storyline-wise with Punk and Bryan. It's more about making her the face of the Divas division, making her the equivalent of what was. Making her the equivalent of, let's say, Elizabeth, Sable, Lita, Trish, and if you want to throw in Alundra Blaze, aka Medusa, or Wendy Richter, that's what they're trying to do with her. And that's not a bad thing when you think about it. It's not a bad thing, honestly. Because I think whoever part of creative, they realized they got to get the division, the Divas division noticed. And that's why I believe the Divas division, I mean, not the Divas division, I believe they're doing this with AJ. Okay? That's why I think they're doing this with AJ. Now, as far as the championship match goes itself, prediction-wise, it's kind of hard, you know, because I'm a fan of both guys. Both are tremendous wrestlers, have worked hard to get to where they are, and it's, you know, no matter what you say about it, it's a great rivalry. But prediction-wise, I don't know where you want to go. I mean, you're doing such a swell job, you're doing such a great job with CM Punk being this long-term champion that you're bringing more importance, you know, exclude AJ out of the picture for the moment. You're putting a lot more emphasis on that WWE Championship so that when he finally loses it, it means something. Okay? So it's kind of hard. I mean, I would like to see Daniel Bryan walk out with the championship so he could say, hey, look what I did in less than a year. You know, I became world champion, and then a few months later I became WWE, in like, well, what? A few months after I lost, I became WWE champion. You know, not many can say that. Not many can say that. But the point I'm trying to get at, folks, is I don't know exactly as a fan prediction-wise where I'd like to go. It's kind of 50-50 there. But booking-wise, this is how I see WWE doing this. They're going to do it one or two ways, but I think the majority is it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a double pin situation. I'm not lying here, folks. This is what I think is going to happen. Both men are going to wrestle. AJ's probably going to try to get in the way, or something's going to happen. And both men are going to... believe it or not, she's either going to cause it, or they're going to cause it to each other. But she's going to do a double pin, whether it's a quick pin, whether it's a quick count, or a regular count, or whatever. I've got a feeling the way WWE's doing this, they're going to extend it for one more month, believe it or not. Maybe not. But it's going to... I don't know what they're going to do, but I've got a feeling we're going to end up with a draw, with a double pin. That's what I feel could happen. I'm guessing that's how WWE might book this. That's what I feel could happen. I'm not saying it will, and I'm not saying it won't, but my guess is that's how I see it happening. It's going to be a draw. It's going to be a double pin because of the situation at hand. So, prediction-wise, as a fan, it's 50-50. Booking-wise, I think we're going to end up with a double pin draw. So, that's all I can say about that. Now, as far as the Money in the Bank ladder matches go, let's talk about the one that a lot of fans would say has more importance to it, has more of a Money in the Bank feeling to it, and that is the World Heavyweight Championship one. Here, you have Cody Rhodes, Christian, Santino, Dolph Ziggler, Tyson Kidd, Damien Sandow, Sin Cara, and Tenzai. Now, a lot of people, a lot of fans, in fact, if you watched the Dads on Wrestling's Money in the Bank prediction show, J.J. Williams himself says he's picking a wild card. And that wild card is Wade Barrett. Now, why would he say that? Well, when he looks at the lineup of superstars in the match, there's one that sticks out. One that doesn't really belong there, but he's there. And that would be the United States Champion Santino. So, what better way for Wade Barrett, as J.J. Williams looks at it, to insert himself into the match than to take Santino out. Now, we're not sure if WWE will book it like that. If they do, hey, that would be great. It's a great twist. It would be a great twist and everything. But let's not forget, WWE knows what they're doing. They know that fans are probably going to expect that. So, they're probably just going to stick with what they have. I mean, take a look at Elimination Chamber. Santino, people thought when Santino won the Battle Royal to get into that, they thought he was going to get attacked, taken out by somebody. Did not happen. Did not happen. Instead, he remained in there to the end. So, who's to say he's not going to be staying in this match? You see, you got to look at that. Now, prediction-wise, it's kind of a toss-up, but I would like to see another moment, like I saw last year in the World Title Money in the Bank match. I'd like to see another moment. And what I'm talking about, prediction-wise, as a fan, I want to see Tyson Kidd win Money in the Bank. I do. I want to see Tyson Kidd win the Money in the Bank match. As a fan, I would like to see them finally give him that opportunity, give him the ball and let him run with it. Because I think the reason they're finally kind of getting behind Tyson a little bit is they're looking at him as possibly the next Bret Hart. I know that's a stretch to say, but to me, this is exactly why, as a fan, I would like to see them give it to Tyson Kidd. So prediction-wise, as a fan, I'm going with Tyson. But booking-wise, it's a three-way tie. That's right, it's a three-way booking-wise. Here's what I mean by three-way booking-wise. Alright? Here's what I mean. One, you got Dolph Ziggler. Very capable, has proven himself to be a main eventer and worthy of being a champion if it's not handed to him. Two, Cody Rhodes. someone that's been working his ass off from the beginning, gone through hell, if you will, with the Big Show, in that situation, lost the title, got it back, lost it again. So now people look at this being his opportunity, and the fact that he was given a second chance, and he ran with that second chance and earned the opportunity. So now the thing is, he's in a position where WWE creative and booking probably will give it to him. But then you got the wild card for them. And no, I'm not talking Christian, because he's been there. I'm not talking Santino. I'm not talking Tyson. As much as a fan, like I said, I want to as a fan, prediction-wise, I want to see Tyson do it, but not Tyson and not Tenzai. Your third wild card is Damien Sandow. That's who it is. So those are the three that right now I think WWE booking and creative kind of they're looking at right now, and they're thinking, who do we give it to? Do we give it to Dolph, who's already has opportunities? Do we give it to Cody, who's obviously seems to be ready to take that next step? Or do we give it to the wild card, Damien Sandow, who has the look and the persona that would be perfect for Money in the Bank winner and future world champion? Do we give it to him? You see, like I mentioned with the WWE title match, as a fan it's kind of 50-50 prediction-wise, and with them it's kind of like 25-25, if you will. It's kind of, well, it's not a 50-50 deal, it's kind of like a 25-25 deal. That's basically what it is. You've got, it's like 75% split. It's a 75% three-way split. Because you got 25% of the booking, I'm pretty sure wants to give it to Cody. You got the other 25% of WWE booking that probably wants to give it to Dolph, and then you got another 25% that wants to give it to Sandow. So to me, they got a hard job there, booking-wise. So to me, like I said, booking-wise, I think WWE is going to go with either these three: Rhodes, Ziggler, or Sandow. That's just my thought. Now, as far as the WWE Championship matches, ladder match, Money in the Bank ladder match itself, I know a lot of fans are upset about this. I know a lot of fans don't like the fact that it's only Cena, Jericho, Kane, and Big Show. But again, WWE knows how we think, pretty much figures we are going to be expecting that, so who's to say WWE won't throw a wild card at us again by adding 2 more participants? What I'm saying is, don't be surprised come Sunday we get the announcement before the match that we got 2 more former champions being added into the match right then and there. And don't be surprised if one of them is The Miz or one of them is Mysterio. Don't be surprised by that, folks. I'm just saying. But until that happens, prediction-wise, I want to see the man that finally created it win. Yeah, I mean, as much as I like Cena, and I do, believe me, I'm a John Cena fan. Don't get me wrong. Whether you like Cena or not, I'm a John Cena fan. But I want to see Chris Jericho finally get it. I mean, Jericho basically came up with the concept back in 2005, and ever since then, he's been in what, 4 or 5 of these things, and he has yet to win. I think it's best for Jericho to finally get it. And think of it this way: what better way for Jericho to prove he is the best in the world than to cash it in at SummerSlam and make the possible Bryan Punk rematch, if that occurs, a triple threat 3-way dance to prove who's the best in the world. I'm just saying. But fan-wise, prediction-wise, I would like to finally see the guy that came up with the concept win it, and that's Chris Jericho. But But knowing how WWE books things, they're going to have, again, their hands full. But it won't be a three-way deal. It's going to be a two-way deal. That's right. It's a 50-50 deal here instead of a three-way 25-25 deal in the world title ladder match. Let me explain. Obviously, a lot of people know that one of the possible winners and favorites is John Cena. But then we got the Big Show. And like I said, again, just like with the other ladder match, except this is just two guys, it's 50-50. Because here's the thing. Half of creative and booking want to keep Big Show's momentum going. Want his status as an unstoppable giant now who's basically more based in reality than he was before. And is more of a loner now and doesn't care about anybody but himself, ironclad contract and everything. They want to keep that momentum that he has going. So that's why basically half of the creative and booking team, I believe, want to give it to Big Show. But then you got this other half that want to give it to Cena because they want to see Punk Cena 3 at SummerSlam, as some people are predicting. And also because of the fact that Cena hasn't been in the title picture, as duly noted, for almost a year. So it's a 50-50 deal. You want to send people home happy if it's the last match of the night. But if it's not, then you want to continue the momentum of the Big Show, and his new change in attitude is, like I said, is more based in reality kind of attitude, ironclad contract deal. You want to keep that momentum going by giving it to him if it's like, say, the second to last match or in the middle of the show. Now, how this is going to happen? Well, if they give it to John Cena, booking wise, then John's going to climb the ladder when things are against him and win it. If it's Big Show that they give it to, they decide to book for the win, then this is how I see it's going to happen, because I've been thinking about this in my mind. Big Show's going to find the opportunity where everybody's laid out, and instead of climbing the ladder, he's going to do this. He's going to wave the briefcase down, because he's got that, I guess you could say, that power to do so. He's going to wave it down, grab it, hook it, and walk out. And that'll be it. He won't climb a ladder. Expect to see that at Money in the Bank. So that's the way I see it. It's a 50-50 deal for them booking and creative-wise. Either give it to Cena, so they can probably go with Cena Punk 3, or keep the momentum going with the unstoppable giant known as the Big Show in his new gimmick and role and whatever you want to call it. Oh, by giving it to him, by having him, as the way I probably see it happening, waving the briefcase down instead of climbing a ladder. So, but that's how I see it. It's kind of a 50-50 deal there. But that's how I see it, prediction-wise, as a fan who I'd like to see win, and booking-wise, how I'm guessing WWE is going to book the matches. So, that's all I'm going to say on Money in the Bank for 2012 and my predictions and everything. Give me your comments and video responses down below, and I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good night.